Hey guys, hope y'all are doing great today. Welcome to part 3 of this week's food forest tour. Over here at this first peach tree, starting to get some growth from these cool weather crops. Even though it's about 75 today here, but they're doing well. The peas really coming up right here. The lettuce starting to get some good leaves on them, starting to grow. The grapevine right up front is doing well. Even though I planted it in an unideal time, being kind of fall would have been better for it. But let's see, it kind of slid over here. We've had all these crazy windstorms, but it's got about an inch or two of growth on it coming out. So I think it'll just do better and better as it gets a little more adjusted, and also as this soil the plants fill in this bottom growing area down here, and the soil starts building up and getting healthier and healthier. So that's really good to see. The peach damage looks to be getting better, which is really good. It seems to get worse and worse as the year goes on, but it is actually, I think, with the this peach got hit kind of hard. You can see quite a few little marks on this one, but still it's not, seeping like a ton of sap. It's done that before a lot, really bad. It's like so bad that, I think it just kills the peach just will fall off. But they seem to be really hanging on and actually recovering from the damage. And I've heard that, if it can be the case where the fruit, if it grows well enough and quickly enough, then maybe not quickly enough, but something that how it grows, it can actually kill the larva of the Plum Curculio or whatever is growing in it, to keep it from actually, doing damage to the fruit, and also reducing it from next year. And it seems like we have, there would be continual damage, really heavy damage, in previous years, and this year it looks to have be slowing down right now, which is a really good sign. Glad to see that. And don't have a whole lot of peaches. These over here have been hit a little harder. As you can see, they're kind of more in the open if you're looking at the tree. So I think the pests can target those a lot better. These are growing a little more hidden just with this new growth surrounding it, so I think that helps a lot. So I think as the diversity of these plants really starts to fill in, and the grapevine and some other things growing down here is a good ground cover, I think it's gonna do really good to help protect these peaches from damage. Let's just take a quick look over here. This one, that one looks really good. Just a few spots on it. That one under there has been hit more heavy, but still okay. So hopefully they will hang in there, and not a whole lot for sure. I think the late cold weather must have got quite a few of them. There's a little one up there in the top, but hopefully they will bounce back and do well. Peach tree next door, the smaller one's looking super good. It's got these shoots right here that have a foot of new growth on them. About 3 right here on this branch. The ones up at the top are catching up, about maybe 7 or 8 inches on these so far, on most of those. So that's looking really good and healthy. It seems to, after clipping back that rootstock, it recovered from that really well. Seems to be putting out lots of really good growth. Well, there's the culprit in action right there. That's the Plum Curculio. Let's see if I probably touch him, he'll probably fall off in my hands. Yep, and there he did, and they play dead too, but looks kind of like a piece of dirt, but actually that is the critter behind most of the damage on the peaches. So yep, such a small little pest, but it seems to be that they are being targeted by some of the beneficial insects, and I hope to see maybe even a reduction this year, and the peaches recover from the damage from them, which seems to be like it could be a possibility. So really excited to see that, and hopefully, oh, you can see he's not playing dead anymore, and they have that snout that they cut the little moon-like incision into the tree. And yeah, hopefully he won't do that on my hand. But no, I'm just teasing. I don't think they can do that to humans. But yep, so hopefully they will be hidden by this polyculture and everything going on, and they will be not nearly as many next year. This tree over where the Plum Curculio was on, still looking really healthy. Some of these peaches have very minimal damage so far, so hopefully that'll be the case with the majority of these peaches. I do see a few where they have been hit quite a bit harder. You can see on this one, it's probably from that one actually that I just removed. That sap is kind of leaking out of the peach right there on the left. It's what kind of that wound happens with those wounds sometimes. So those are probably very fresh. But like this other one right here looks really healthy, pretty untouched so far. So hopefully the predatory beneficial insects will help greatly reduce the populations of the Plum Curculio. Seedling peach is looking really good and healthy. Starting to like the warmer weather that we've been getting. Its growth is looking good and healthy, so that's good to see. Get a little red ant hanging out up top in that one. Over here at the first bigger cherry tree, it seems to have dropped all of its cherries this year, which is kind of a little bit of a bummer, but I know it's probably looking to put in some more good growth this year, and it can be a common thing for them to do the first year that they do, flower like that. So it's the first year that they've, flowered at all. So, the tree could be looking to put more growth into filling out the canopy, which is what I'm guessing it's doing. It's really doing well so far. It's got about 5 inches of growth maybe on pretty much all of the growing tips. Lots of side branching that's starting to come out. Gonna leave all that and let this tree just fill in and get super thick, healthy canopy. And I'm guessing with all that added photosynthesis going on and all these new branches, hopefully it will produce its first good crop next year. Over at the second cherry tree, same thing kind of happening with this one. I think it has dropped pretty much all of its cherries as well, but got some good new growth happening, about 6 inches of new growth there. I think that shoot is mostly new growth right down there too. At least actually maybe the tip of that one, but actually that one right there is all new growth. That's about 6 inches of new growth right here on this branch. So really looking like it'll fill in. It's about 8 inches on this little branch right here already. So really filling in. It's starting to branch out first right down here near the base of the branches, and then the tips are just starting to, come out. So, I don't know if you hear that bumblebee, but I think he thought I was his home there for a second. I think I felt him almost touch me, but I've never had one sting me or anything. But looking really good for the cherries on here. Try to get close to this damselfly. They seem to be good for the most part. About as I say that, he flies off. But this is the first year that I've really seen them at all in the food forest. I've seen dragonflies, and you can see they look like a dragonfly. I don't know if I can get close enough to him without him flying off, but oh well. I think he's just gonna go progressively that way. But they seem to eat a very wide variety of insects, and so hopefully they will also take it to the not so nice insects towards the fruit and the plants. So really good to see. I saw a few back at the back near one of the pools, but at the back of the food forest. It's actually that one in the back at the back corner. I saw like 2 small ones. That one looks like it has gotten quite bigger, or either a bigger variety of the damselfly. So really glad to see them in the food forest. The Pawpaw has dropped all of its fruit. Kind of like I mentioned with the cherry tree, a little bit of a bummer, but I think it's really looking like it's really gonna fill out this year. Lots of gonna make looks like some really good side branching and get bigger and healthier. And as you can see, there's even still a few flowers on there. I don't think it was a lack of pollination, because it did look like it had gotten pollinated and the baby pawpaws were starting to form. And same thing with the cherries. I don't think it was a pollination issue because they started forming. One actually even got almost like not quite dime size for the cherry wise, and then they just kind of all fell off. I think the first year, you know, that it's maybe start setting a crop, the tree will just drop it in favor of getting a little bit bigger before doing it. But looking really good so far. I love the way these pawpaws look with these tropical leaves. They're just getting started. The leaves will get really big. They're just kind of small right now, just getting going for the year. Pawpaw over here, leaves are a little bit bigger. As I mentioned earlier, it got a little bit of head start because it didn't flower like the other pawpaw, but it's looking good. Got that praying mantis egg sac right on the back of there of that the wire cage, so hopefully it'll keep doing really well. We'll put on a lot of new growth this year and get bigger. Hopefully it'll be flowering before a few years. Thanks for tuning in to part 3 of this week's Food Forest Tours. I'll see you guys soon in part 4. Bye guys.